Book of Judges, session number 60. And this is Judges chapter 17. Now, chapter 17 and chapter 18 and chapter 19 is a weird Bible study. There's things happening in these chapters that are very, very difficult to explain. In the physical, they are weird. In the spiritual, there is so much that we can assume from this. And you might read through these chapters and have different views and different opinions, and that's great. I'm just going to give you my views out of these chapters. And as I was working through them, and I said to Father, these are so difficult. What is this talking about? Is it really teaching us something for, what's relevant in our lives in these days? Once I was done, and you look back and you realize, what is it that we are really learning here? The next couple of days, we're going to go work through these chapters, and I'm going to read through them, and I need you to listen, just listen to the words, and try to think how it physically happened in the book of Judges, in the time of these judges. But then at the same time, see the parallel universe of how this is spiritually talking about everything that has to do with the kingdom of God, the evil side, the good side, the end time world religion, the end time world powers, and how things are being explained and prophesied in these ancient historical happenings. So chapter 17 and prophesied in these ancient historical happenings. So chapter 17 is all about confusion, civil confusion, religious confusion. And there are so many key words, and I hope that you're going to sit and maybe make notes as you read through this whole chapter with me. There was a man from the mountain of Ephraim, first key word, whose name was Micah. And he said unto his mother, the 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which you cursed and spoke also in my ears, behold, the silver is with me, I took it. And his mother said, blessed be you of Yahuwah, my son. And when he had restored the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, my hand for my son, to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee. Yet he restored the money unto his mother. And his mother took 200 shekels of silver, and gave them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Micah. And the man Micah had a house of gods, and he made an ephod and teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his high priest. In these days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. There was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and there he stayed. And Micah said unto him, where do you come from? And he said, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place. And Micah said unto him, dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver every year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, Micah, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his high priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah, Now know I, do me good, seeing that I have a Levite to be my priest. All right, we're just going to read up to here. And this is a very deep, very significant explanation of the whole world problem we have, of the civil, the religious, the problems we have in society, in government, in this whole Antichrist system, the serpent kingdom from the beginning, the apostasy of God's people, the whoring of the wife. We can see so much of this being displayed. And we are learning here about somebody from Ephraim. So again, he is then combined with somebody from Judah. We have Ephraim and Judah all the time. The house of Ephraim, the house of Israel, the two sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, representing the divorced wife, the whoring wife, the 10 northern tribes that lived in the northern kingdom of Israel, that was banished through the king of Assyria, banished by God into every tribe, nation, and tongue, where, as per Deuteronomy 4, they will serve all kinds of other gods that their fathers didn't know, and that is not Yahuwah. But if they are in their end-day tribulations, they will remember about Yahuwah and His Torah, and they will return to Him. So basically what we are finding here, but this Ephraimite, who represents the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who actually, are raised, other talks about Yahuwah, where he himself talks about Yahuwah. But this Ephraimite, who's trying to serve God with mixed pagan religion, like the churches of today does, like you and I did when we were still in church. We are Ephraim. We are represented by this man Micah, who, mixes himself or becomes friends with a Levite priest from the house of Judah. But unfortunately, both this Ephraimite tries to mix God's pure holy worship with pagan traditions, and this Levite, this man from Judah, comes now. He becomes the high priest of this false sun god religious worship temple. So everything that God has, the temple, the sacrifice, the priest, the ephod on the high priest's breast, all of this is now replaced by false religion, by somebody, not a Babylonian, not an Egyptian, not a Satanist, but somebody representing the house of Israel, becoming friends with somebody representing the house of Judah. And here we also see the end time prophecy. And I'm trying to teach you to keep your eyes wide open so that we can recognize everything where we are supposed to be involved in. And the prophecy says very explicitly that in the hand of Messiah, the two houses will be restored into one kingdom. The two sticks of Ezekiel will be restored in one branch, and that is Ezekiel will be restored in one branch, and that is part of the olive tree, where the branches are being grafted back into this original tree of life from the original Garden of Eden, from the original kingdom of God. But so does Satan. Satan also knows these prophecies, and he also will bring some kind of a restoration between the house of Ephraim and the house of Judah. Currently, we can see this all over the world. You've got all these sites, Jews for Jesus, proclaiming the Messiah to the Jews, the Jewish Jesus, the Jewish Messiah. And we all know that our Messiah was indeed Jewish, but his name was Yeshua. He was not Jesus Christus. We cannot eating Ishtar, celebrating Sunday, 25 December, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus to the Jews. But in these days, we can see this whole Christian movement where everybody is supporting Israel and everybody is praying for the peace of Jerusalem in their Sunday worship ceremonies. They are trying to fulfill prophecies by praying for the Jews and for Jerusalem, because they think that will bring on the coming of Messiah quicker, and they want to be raptured, so blah, blah, blah. And then this whole false man, or this man from Ephraim who brings a false religion, combining with the house of Judah, a priest, a Levite, supporting and strengthening this false religion. But how can it be false? Here we've got Ephraim worshipping God. Here we've got Ephraim worshipping God. Here we've got Judah taking hands with Ephraim. And together they form a new house of God. Are we seeing something like the third temple? Are we seeing the new world religion? Are we seeing how the Antichrist will take the place of Messiah, not deceiving so easily the true believers, because he's doing it in biblical ways. And because he's got his representatives out of Christianity and Judaism coming together, fighting for Messiah and for bringing the true gospel all over the world, a lot of people will be deceived by that. Because there will be so many prophecies of Messiah that will be, used for the evil of the false Messiah. I've given you a little peek of that in the Sukkot 2022 Bible studies. I think it was session 6, close to the end, where, Lucifer is not stupid. Satan is not an idiot. They know they will not be able to deceive even the elect, if possible, if they're going to do it outside of Bible prophecy. So a lot of Bible prophecy they will reenact. They will, I'm looking for the right word, they will pretend that they are fulfilling these Bible prophecies. So we see in verse 1, there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah. And he said unto his mother, Mother, you know those 1,100 shekels of silver that was stolen from you, and then you put a curse on the person who stole it. And you even told me about it. I just want to confess today, I have stolen that silver. I have taken it. So in Judges 16, we see that Samson has been betrayed with 1,100 pieces of silver. And here in the opening of Judges 17, we see 1,100 pieces of silver again, surrounding a betrayal. A son betrays his mother. He didn't just steal $10 out of her purse. He took 1,100 pieces of silver. Remember when we discussed this, when the lords of the Philistines promised Delilah that they will give her all this money. Remember, they each said, here we go, every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. That's a lot of money. So this son stole a lot of money from his mother, but he was afraid of the curse that she put over it. And I am assuming, because they are from the Mount of Ephraim, and because they are, she says she has dedicated this unto Yahuwah, and I assume that these are Hebrew believers and Torah-keeping people. So this man knew that it wasn't good to have a curse upon him. He knew he wasn't supposed to steal, never mind to steal from his own mother. So he brought it back to her. He was afraid of the curse. He doesn't make restitution. He doesn't bring a trespass offering. He just brings it back, and she forgives him, and now all is fine. But he doesn't make restitution as the Torah commands. But we find some weird things happening here. Again, this mother says, now, blessed are you of Yahuwah, my son. Weird things happening here. Again, this mother says, now, blessed are you of Yahuwah, my son. So she's blessing him. She's thanking him. Maybe she's crying. Thank you, my boy. You know, I forgive you because you had the honesty and the integrity to come and tell me that you have stolen it. You didn't just leave it and make me think that somebody else stole it. And you didn't go and spend it. So you know what? I forgive you. And when he had restored the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I have wholly dedicated the silver unto Yahuwah from my hand for my son. Now this is where stuff gets confusing, because in the one breath, she says that she has dedicated it to Yahuwah. And in the next breath, she says she's going to give it to us, which is against the commandments of Yahuwah. But, you know, it's like the woman in the New Testament who had 10 coins and then she lost one and she looked for it all over. And when she found it, she was just so overjoyed that she found it. So here the mother is just so overjoyed that within their religious community of serving Yahuwah, they are overjoyed that they found the silver, and now they are still dedicating it to Yahuwah, but they are doing something which they think is right. We see later on there was no king. We are reading in the book of Judges, which means there were no kings, but God appointed judges. And this obviously happened after Samson died. And now suddenly there was no more judges. That was bringing people back to God, like Gideon and Deborah and Barak and Obed, and these guys did. Bringing people back to God, like Gideon and Deborah and Barak and Obed, and these guys did. There was nobody teaching the law. There was nobody upholding the sanctity of God's worship. There was nobody telling the people, this that you are doing is wrong. Although you think it is right in your own eyes. You think you can worship God like this. You think you can bring dedication to Yahuwah by worshiping Him, by bowing through a molten graven image, something of silver or gold or wood or stone that you carved with your own hands. I mean, she took the money to this, or what did they call him? To the founder. You know, a founder is somebody that fans flames, and then they melt silver and gold or whatever. Molten, when something has melted and you then cast it into a statue, you've made a molten image from the melted metal. So she took it to the founder. So they think doing what they want and what they think is now good, like Israel worshipped the golden calf at the bottom of Mount Sinai, and they said this is now a feast unto Yahuwah, trying to worship Yahuwah, mixing pagan traditions into God's worship, is what people have been doing since the earliest of times. And they are still doing it today. We see it all over the place. We see it in all of religion, especially in the Christian religion. Worship God with the tradition right in your own eyes that you have inherited from your fathers, and now you expect God to just be happy with that because, hey, Jesus died on the cross. So we are now free from having to worry about how you commanded us how to obey you. Right? So she then restored the money, and she gave 200 shekels for this molten image. All right, let's have a look. She went to the founder who made a graven image and a molten image, and they were put in the house of Micah. So this idol is put in the house of Micah, basically where in this house previously it looks like Yahuwah was worshipped. But now this man Micah had a house of gods. Not the house of God, not the house of Elohim. It seemed that he now made a house of gods. So he's from the tribe of Ephraim. He thinks that he's worshipping Yahuwah. It says in verse 13, I want to worship Yahuwah, and now that I have a Levite priest, of course Yahuwah will do good to me. Obviously, God must now be happy that I'm worshiping him. Hey, look at the stunning image I made for him. And I've got a Levite. I don't have a pagan priest. I don't have a Roman Catholic priest. I don't have a Christian priest or a Buddhist priest. No, I have a Levite. I have a Levite from the tribe of Judah. How's this? A Levite from the tribe of Judah. There was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family. This Levite probably married into a family of Judah, because the Levites, we know, Levi is one son of Jacob, and Judah was another son of Jacob. So a Levite cannot be a Levite and from the tribe of Judah. So this Levite married into the tribe of Judah, and he sojourned in Bethlehem, Judah. Hey, Messiah came from Bethlehem. This Levite came from Bethlehem. Messiah is the high priest. This Levite is the high priest. Messiah was from the tribe of Judah. The Levite is from the tribe of Judah. Hey, we are fulfilling prophecy. Number 1, shap shap, cool bananas. We are ready to go. We can continue with this one world new religion. Everybody will follow us, even the Hebrew root movement, even the Jews and all Messianic Christians. You can all follow us because, hey, we have Messiah. We've got all his characteristics. From Bethlehem, he's a high priest. He wears the ephod. He's from the tribe of Judah. And he comes into the house of Ephraim. Messiah wasn't sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Ephraim, the house of Israel. So he's coming into the house of the Ephraimite, and he's helping him. He's a father to him. He's helping him to worship Yahuwah. Doesn't the Bible say 10 men will cling unto the tzitzit, or the robes of a Jew, and say, take us with you. We know God is with you. Teach us the good ways and the ancient ways, the law and the prophets. If there's no light in the people's teachings, don't listen to them. But if the prophets are talking according to the law and the prophets, then, you are Shanana, ready to go. You are fine. Then, you are Shanana, ready to go. You are fine. So here we've got this whole Christian Babylonian religion taking hands with the Kabbalah, Judaism, Talmud, Noahide laws, and all these roots are in Babylon, and Babylon's roots are in Egypt, and Egypt's roots are in the Nimrod system from the Tower of Babel, and Nimrod's roots are in Lucifer and in the enlightened Nephilim serpent kingdom. And here these two huge components, biggest components of today's religions, are taking hands and forming this worship house of God or gods. But they dedicated it, no, that Yahuwah will do good to me, seeing I have a Levite for a priest. So this Ephraimite Judah combination religion is one of the big problems we have today. And we look at the whore of Babylon in the book of Revelation. And it's almost like this mother is representing the whore of Babylon. She's allowing all of this. In one breath, she said she dedicated it to Yahuwah. So it looks like she is part of the bride of God, the wife of God. This is before God divorced the house of Israel. So this woman is from the tribe of Ephraim. She worships Yahuwah. She talks about him. So she's part of the wife of God. They got married at Mount Sinai. God married all 12 tribes of Israel. So, in the same breath, all 12 tribes of Israel. So, in the same breath, she's now going to do pagan worship and getting her son to become this temple leader, this new religious leader, even with his own high priest. So she is indoctrinating. She's got the cup of the whore of Babylon with mixed religion that she is bringing to the nations and making them drunk. Her son and the Levite and all those who come to this house of Micah to come and worship and pray, she's making them drunk. It's her fault that all this is happening. Why doesn't she teach her son in the ways of Yahuwah? But instead, she's doing this now. And besides this mother, in chapter 19, we see how this Levite goes out and finds he finds a wife, this Levite priest. Chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. So this Levite, I'm thinking it's the same man. It talks about a certain Levite, and he is from the Mount of Ephraim, exactly where the Levite in chapter 17 comes to, and he goes back to Bethlehem, Judah. Why does he go back to Bethlehem, Judah? Well, that's where he came from, right? And he finds a concubine in Bethlehem, Judah. And this concubine played the whore against him, and he went away from him unto her father's house. So we'll get to this whole difficult thing of this concubine and this Levite and everything that happens to them in chapter 19. But here, these two women, this mother of Micah and this false religion approved by this Levite, and then eventually the Levite's whore that he gets married to, just symbolizes for me the false prophet, as this Levite came in and he became a father and a priest and a teacher and a preacher to the house of Micah. Micah representing the lost tribes of Ephraim. His mother, the whore, the divorced whore of the house of Israel. How this false prophet sleeps with the whore, because this Levite sleeps with a whoring concubine in chapter 19. In chapter 19. But this Micah lives in the house with his mother. And the whore of Babylon, there's a lot of prophecies where we read she's the mother of all whores. And this mother says, I am not destitute. I will gather all my children. Just like Messiah says he will gather all his children. This mother will gather all her little sisters and daughters, all these little churches and religions and stuff. So this whole whore of Babylon thing for me in the book of Judges is really significant. This mother of Micah, like I said, with one part of her mouth, she talks about Yahuwah, and with the other part of her mouth, she talks about pagan worship. So we have the whore of this whole whore of Babylon system. Revelation 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up, but he spoke like a dragon. So this religion that's coming, and this beast and this false prophet and this antichrist, this agenda they have for the future one world religion, they will look like a lamb. They will look like the lamb from Judah, the lamb of God that was sent to this world, but they will speak like a dragon. They speak the Bible says the serpent of old is Satan, and he is a fiery dragon. So they will speak the serpent lies, but they look like a lamb. They look innocent. They might even look like Yeshua from Bethlehem. He's a high priest. He wants to bring the whore Ephraim back and marry her again and make her his bride and, have a marriage supper of the lamb, blah, his bride and, have a marriage supper of the lamb, blah, blah, a marriage supper of the lamb. So the Antichrist looks like a lamb. This false prophet, this beast that's coming out. And remember, the whore is riding the beast. So this whole, what is the word? When you work together, cooperation of the whore and the Ephraim sun god worshipping people, the false prophet from the house of Judah, the Jews who call themselves Jews, but they're not, they're from the synagogue of Satan, and is a Levite representing the whole priestly worship sacrificial system. Everything looks right. We can tick off a lot of notches, but all of these are replacements for the truth, making it so difficult for people to discern. So this beast, Revelation 19, verse 20. This beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, and so deceived the whole world to follow after the beast. This whole system, of course, will be destroyed. But for now, they are ruling and reigning. And look at all these keywords. Verse 1, Ephraim, right? Verse 2, silver, being sold out by silver. Verse 3 is the 1100 shekels, just like Samson. Let's take verse 5, house of gods, and high priest, the Levite. Let's see here. And the man Micah had a house of gods and made an ephod and a teraphim and consecrated one of his sons to become his priest. So the son became the priest, but then later on he made the Levite the high priest. Okay, verse 6. There was no king. Everybody did that which was right in their own eyes. Doing what's right in your own eyes. Samson did what was right in his own eyes, so he lost his eyes. There's a king, I think it's King Zedekiah, who also did what was right in his own eyes, and he also lost his eyes. We learn about this in the book of Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 39, 38, round about there, where Jeremiah warned him over and over and over again. These are the prophecies of God. It is going to happen. No matter how many times you throw me in prison, I cannot shut my mouth. These prophecies are going to happen. You're going to be taken captive. No matter how many times you throw me in prison, I cannot shut my mouth. These prophecies are going to happen. You're going to be taken captive by the Babylonians. You Jews, you house of Judah. And Zedekiah didn't want to listen. So his eyes was removed, They made him blind. So you do what's right in your own eyes, and you're going to end up losing them. But here we see that's exactly what is going on today. No matter how many times you tell people it's a sin against Yahuwah to bow before a Christmas tree, they say, no, we do it to Jesus. We do it to God. God knows our heart. He knows my heart is right. He knows what is right in your own eyes. So there was a young man of Bethlehem, Judah, verse 7, the key words Bethlehem and Judah and Levite. And then he was walking to and fro upon the ways of God, finding a shalom with him. But this Levite doesn't have roots. He doesn't have structure. He doesn't have shalom. He doesn't have a place to rest. So he's walking up and down, looking for a place where he can find some rest, where somebody is going to give him a place to stay. And he finds it in the house of the gods, in the house of Micah. Lekker, now he's going to live there. He will become father and priest to Micah. He gets 10 shekels of silver per year. Micah has like 1,100 shekels of silver, but nevertheless, the priest gets 10 shekels a year. And, he's happy with that. You remember when we looked at the book of Joshua? I hope you can remember Achan. We had Achan in the book of Joshua when they went to fight against Jericho. And God said, you take nothing. Achan took silver and take nothing. Achan took silver and gold for himself. He's a Jew that will betray Yahuwah for money. He's a Jew and a Levite. And at the end of the day, all these false systems from the house of Judah these Jews from the synagogue of Satan that is currently running the world banks are in it for the money. And above that, well, the money is automatic. It's there. They own it. They have it. And they want more of it. But subsequently, it's more about the reward that Lucifer has promised them, that the enlightened one has promised them. But inherently, people always say Jews are greedy. No, it's not that Jews are greedy. The Jews are greedy. The Jews from the synagogue of Satan who runs the world, the elites, of course, absolutely. But if you look at the way that Jewish people run their businesses according to the Torah, they are very successful, not because they're greedy, but because they follow the Torah. But out of the house of Judah comes both the Messiah and the Antichrist. Out of the house of Judah comes both the good Jews and the evil ones. And here we have one of them. From Bethlehem, Judah, comes this Levite. He's somehow royalty mixed with priest, just like Yeshua. Royalty, he's the king, but he's also the high priest. He's Melchizedek. He's the high priest, the righteous king. And here we have an exact representation of that. And he sells his soul, basically, for money. He betrays Yahuwah. And here mixes Judaism and Christianity, and they find their religion that they are both happy with, and that their mothers and their wives and all the people are happy with. There's no king, there's no judge, there's nobody to tell them otherwise. And we must remember, these elites today, and Satan and all the demons, once they've used you, they're just going to throw you away. And that's what this world doesn't realize. Because this very same Levite priest in chapter 18, verse 19, a group of other people, will get to that. These people went to Micah's house and fetched the carved image, the ephod, the teraphim, and the molten image. And they said to the priest, "You become a priest for us. It's better that you are a priest unto a tribe than what you are a priest only to one man." There's no loyalty. There is no real worship of Yahuwah amongst this false religion. When money klingels or there's a little bit of fear happening, then this whole system will just go wherever they can be more happy, more rich, more safe, more secure. So, this is my assumption. This is my declaration. This is my explanation of this chapter. I want you to read through this chapter again and again, and also see what you can find in it. And see how many cross references you can make with the book of Thessalonians, Revelation, Daniel. I mean, when I really go into all of this, I can keep you busy for the next 10 hours just on this one. The Bible good enough, and you can even go further than this. I've just opened the way for you. Right, may you be blessed, and I'll see you again at the next